Hello, besties. How are we today? Welcome to my third print with me in the series of printing with me for my final project for my print media studio. Yes. Let's just jump right in with a quick reminder if you don't know what I'm doing. So I don't have anything interesting to talk about, and I don't really feel like explaining printmaking. Instead of babbling about printmaking, I'm just going to answer artist tag questions. This is questions 11 through 15 from the Starving Artist tag. Pregunta 11. What advice can you give people who want to be more artistic or creative? So, you just gotta make things. Just make things, like literally, just make things. Like, it doesn't matter if they suck, if no one's ever gonna see them, just start making things. Especially if you do want to get better, like if your end goal is to maybe make art one day as at least some form of a living, or just as a creative outlet and being proud of what you've made. You just gotta start somewhere. You can't get better without making the art. And I know it's so like cliche and everyone says that, like, you've gotta practice to get better, but it's true. Like, you can watch as many tutorials as you want on how to draw a face or an eye or a hand or a tree or anything, but until you do it, it doesn't matter. Like, the comparison is, I could never watch a tutorial and eventually I'm gonna get better, but if you only watch tutorials, you're never gonna get better. You just gotta do it, and the best way to do it is to combine tutorials and studying other people's work and just kind of watching them as they make and stuff, and then doing it yourself and saying, hey, I didn't like how this person did this, let me try it this way, and just experimenting and playing around and just be creative. It doesn't matter if it sucks. It doesn't matter if it's literally like looks like a 5-year-old did it with their eyes closed in a yellow crayon. Like, it doesn't matter. Just make things. If you wait until your art is good, you're never gonna make art. Hashtag life advice. Hashtag artist advice. So just start making things and figure out if you like it or not. Just overall, just play around and be creative and experiment, and yeah, there's nothing more you can ask for after that. Pregunta 12. Were you supported to pursue art as a child? I mean, I'd say definitely yeah. Maybe not as much as I would have liked. I've grown up in a more sportsy, athletic family. But yeah, I mean, I got to do shows and writing, and I always did things in the arts. And I mean, they've always bought me art supplies for Christmas and my birthday, so if they didn't support it, you wouldn't buy it. Pregunta 13. Do you make money off your art? I feel like this question and the question from the last set of questions I did, which is, what have you learned as a full-time artist, are like very contradictory, because if you're a full-time artist, you better be making money off of your art. Otherwise, you're not a full-time artist. You just do something else that lets you do art full-time. But kind of, I've started to. I mean, to be fair, the only people who've really bought my stuff, my art thus far, have been family. But I'm working on it. It's the moral of the story. Check out my Etsy down below. I have sold one Redbubble sticker. I don't know who it was to, but they bought it, and it was such a crappy design. I'm like, why did you buy it? I've really been wanting to upload more things to Redbubble, though, because, like, it doesn't cost anything for me. So I can just upload a bunch of designs, and if no one ever buys them, then, like, oh well, who cares? But if people do buy them, it is a small profit, because you have to mark it up. The way Redbubble works is it's like, it costs this much for the t-shirt and for printing your design on the t-shirt. So, in order for you to make money, you've got to mark it up, which is why you'll get such varying prices on Redbubble, even if it's the same exact t-shirt, because some artists want to make more money off of it, so they bump up their profit margin. Moving on. Pregunta 14. What do you want to improve on / aspire to be with your future art? So, we'll address the first half of this question. What do you want to improve on first? So, definitely, I mean, I mentioned it in my first speed painting video. One of my big goals for this year for my art is to improve my people drawing skills, specifically portraits and faces, but just entire bodies in general, because bodies are hard, people are hard. So, really wanting to improve on faces. That is like top goal for this year. Like, I want to look at faces I've drawn by the end of the year and be like, wow, I'm proud of this. I would sell this to someone for money. What else do you sell it for? I'm not gonna answer that question. But also just I didn't really write it down as a goal, because I mean, one of my goals is just to make art every day and just create. So with that comes improving on everything. Like, I think if you're making art and you're not improving, you're doing something wrong. So, but I really want to improve on my like water drawing skills. Water is very hard to draw, if you didn't know. So I really want to work on drawing water, since a lot of subjects that I draw are in water, because I like to draw ocean things. Thus, I need to improve my water drawing skills, and water is also hard. And then the second half of the question, what do you aspire to be with your future art? I aspire to be an artist, dummy. No, I really want to improve. No, not improve. This is aspire. Like, I really just want to develop more of my style. I want to have like a noticeable style, like even if it is based off of something else. I want to have something where you can look at my art and be like, yeah, that's Zoe's style. Now, I mean, if I do like a commissioned cartoon piece, that's different, but like, you know what I'm saying, like a piece that I made, I want someone to look at it and be able, I mean, assuming they're familiar with my work, and be like, that is Zoe made that. I really want to just develop a distinct personal style, and I think I'm on my way there. I know what I'm trying to get at. It's just, it takes time, and you have to be good enough to purposefully do the things you want to do, which is hard. So that's definitely something that I continue to work on, and I mean, not even consciously, it's just making the choices that I'm like, I like how this ends up looking. And then also, like I've said before, I aspire to be a part of an ocean conservation campaign art thing, and just making art that causes people to think about what we're doing to our oceans and our planet and stuff. Which is kind of ironic, because a lot of art supplies use natural resources to make. Just also not only working, I guess, on an ocean conservation campaign, but using art supplies that are more conservation friendly. But that's also not necessarily me, and that's more of the art industry and coming up with ways and materials to use that are environmentally friendly. And that's just something that it might take a while to get more products like that. Like, I know Derwent, which is what I use for a lot of my watercolors, their pencils are all sustainably sourced from sustainably sourced wood. Yeah, and I think Strathmore, Hanson, a lot of paper brands, at least for their covers, I don't know so much about their papers, but their covers are made from recycled materials. And I think there's more papers coming out that are made from recycled materials, but it is expensive, and especially if you already like a sketchbook you're using. That's one of the problems, kind of a little off-topic rant here, but one of the problems with all these things that are marketed to be environmentally friendly, they're telling you to ditch the thing you already have. Like those Pella cases that are biodegradable once you're done or whatever, in order to get one, I have to trash my plastic phone case. And there's still production involved in those cases, the Pella cases. I'm not just like, I'm wasting the life of my phone case right now. That still works perfectly fine. It's tinted a little bit, because most clearish phone cases do tint, you know? But, like, it works fine. There's nothing wrong with it. So me throwing it out is kind of stupid, because that's wasting, like, you have a life of a product that you need to use in order for it to be somewhat, like, balanced for the production process, so you're not wasting things. And it feels so wasteful to throw out my phone case just to get an environmentally friendly one, which probably still has a high environmental impact and environmental footprint to make. Even though it won't sit in a landfill once I'm done with it, it still had to be made. It's like with cotton bags. Like, it's actually better to just use plastic grocery bags than to buy cotton reusable bags, because cotton's environmental footprint is so large that you have to use it so many times that it's just not very likely. So, like, don't use cotton reusable bags unless you already have them. Just heads up. But yeah, so that's something. I don't feel like it's good to throw out current art supplies or current anything, because that's just wasteful. Like, I have a sketchbook that once I'm done with the one I'm using now, I will be using, even though I think the cover's made with recycled material. But, I mean, I found sketchbooks that had at least partially recycled material used in the paper, but it feels wasteful to waste an entire sketchbook and say I'm not going to use it. It's already been made. So, that's just a kind of side rant and something to keep in mind. Like, just because something's environmentally friendly doesn't mean you should automatically buy that if you still have the lesser environmentally friendly product, because there's still production involved and transportation. There's still a footprint and an ecological footprint. So don't just swap everything out and think you've saved the environment. Be conscious. And that's something they don't want you to think about, because the companies, the big ones that are doing these environmentally friendly things, are just doing it for the money. Which, you know what, if that gets them to do good things for the environment, so be it. But it's still the true case that a lot of times it's still just for the money. So that side note's over. I feel like I answered question 14. Pregunta no, not cinco, dear lord. Pregunta 15. What feelings do you try to express in your art? So I would definitely say I try to express ocean. That's not really a feeling, but yep. I struggle with expressing feelings. Like, I've always wanted to start trying to, like, make emotion paintings. I don't know, whatever to call them. Like, abstract emotion-based paintings where I just sit down when I'm feeling a really extreme form of an emotion and just kind of paint it out. It hasn't worked. That's not how I make art. That's not how my brain works with that stuff. So I just try to, feeling not so much, but I just want people to think when they look at, like, serious art pieces I've done. Like, of course, if you're looking at a portrait I did of my K-pop bias from ITZY, Jeryung, you're not gonna think. You might think of how I'm drawing her, but it's not to make you think. But, like, the serious, think-worthy pieces I make, like, I just want to make you think about whatever it is I'm trying to express, which is usually something about, like, the environment or politics or something. But I don't know. I don't feel like I do good with expressing feelings, and I do want to work on that. But currently I'm not so good at it. I'm trying. I guess I just want you to feel your own feelings when you look at it. I don't want to tell you what to feel. And we're gonna take that high word there. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And enjoyed the prints and the process you were seeing. Yeah, I actually was able to film a lot of this one instead of my phone filling up and only having like 40 some minutes of video. This time I connected my phone to my computer and recorded from my phone directly onto my computer. So I recorded literally like 30 gigs of video. I probably have like 4 hours of video for this. So, I'll probably split it up into multiple parts. Yeah. Bye, besties. Have a good night, day, evening, morning, afternoon. Yeah.